Hello my beautiful friends, my name is Anna. Welcome back to my kitchen. If you are new, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to make a lamb and chickpea curry. This is a Indian inspired dish. I'm not saying this is authentic by any means because it is anything but. All I know is that it's delicious. Ingredients: you're going to need a little bit of olive oil. You're also going to need some butter. If you have some ghee, you can use that. I currently don't have, so I'm just going to mix a little bit of butter with extra virgin olive oil. I'm going to need some garbanzo beans, which I'm going to rinse, drain in a bit because you don't want any of the liquid, just the beans. You're gonna need red onion, garlic, water, obviously your lamb. I buy my lamb just like this. I believe it's called, they sell it as lamb stew meat, and it comes diced into little cubes. You're also going to need some white vinegar, some tomato sauce, tomato puree, whichever tomato product you have, ginger, and then here, as you can see, I have some spices. I have them separate because this is what I'm going to use to marinate the meat itself, and this is just some garam masala and some curry powder. And then in here, I have again some curry powder, garam masala, a little bit of ground clove, and you're also going to need some cayenne pepper. I also like to add some fenugreek leaves into mine right at the end. And last but not least, you're going to need a little bit of brown sugar. I also forgot to mention that you need some salt and pepper, but I believe that's self-explanatory. All I'm gonna do now is season my meat with some salt, pepper, and my garam masala and curry powder. I like to use the two spices together because they're a spice mix, so they already have a bunch of spices in them. So that way you don't need to buy a million different spices. Okay, so it's not a lot because remember the sauce itself is gonna have the rest of the spices in it, so I don't like to add too much to the actual meat. I'm gonna let this marinate for a little bit while I chop my onion and mince my garlic. So I'm gonna let this marinate at room temperature for about 30 minutes. You just want the flavors to kind of get to know each other, and then we're gonna sear the meat. Okie dokie. So my meat was marinating, like I said, let it marinate for about 20 minutes. The longer you let it marinate, the better. If you want to marinate it overnight, by all means, go ahead and do so. I'm going to get some butter. I'm going to add it to my pan along with about a tablespoon of olive oil. That way nothing burns. So I'm just gonna let it melt there for a second. My heat is a medium high. I'm going to add the lamb. So I'm just gonna separate it. Because we just want to sear, so you want them to you don't want it to be on top of each other, otherwise the meat is not going to sear properly. So just kind of give them a little bit of room. I'm just letting my meat sear for a little while. You want it to get a really nice golden color around them. So I'm just going to let it do that. It's going to take about 5 more minutes, and I'll show you the next step. So you can tell the meat has browned beautifully. So I am going to remove it from the pan for the meantime. Okay, to that same oil, I'm going to add my onions. I'm going to cook the onions until they soften up quite a lot, and then they start developing a little bit of color. That's going to take about 5 more minutes. Okie dokie. So, as you can see, onions have started to caramelize a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and add my garlic along with my minced ginger. Just gonna give that a quick mix. And I'm just gonna cook the garlic for about 1 or 2 minutes. You really don't need to cook it too long. Garlic is looking good. Now, right into the oil, I'm going to add the spices because we want those spices to bloom. Remember, they've been in a bottle for God knows how long. So you want to wake them up. You're gonna let them bloom. You're gonna start to smell them right away. So to my pan, I'm going to add my tomato product. Stir that in. We add the meat back in. Okay, at this point I'm going to add my vinegar. Look how good that's looking already. Fantastic. I'm also going to add the water. This is what it should look like at this point. Now I'm going to cover it and cook it for about 45 minutes until the lamb it's really, really nice and tender. That will depend. I'm gonna bring the temperature down to medium low so I can cook, and I am going to add the chickpeas halfway through the cooking process. So right about the 25-minute mark, I'm going to add the chickpeas. Gonna cover this like I said, and I'm just gonna let it cook, and I'll show you the next step once we're there. Okie dokie. So my meat, my lamb and chickpeas have been cooking. I let it cook for about an hour and a half, and then halfway through the cooking process I added the chickpeas. You can add them even a little later on because I was waiting for my lamb to be really nice and tender. I did add another cup of water because it was just getting too thick. This is what you want yours to look like. I want to show you how incredibly tender the lamb is. I also added the sugar. Look at that. I can literally cut it with a spoon. That's how tender it is. That's how I like my meat. Now, the final touch is to add some fresh coriander or cilantro right on top, just like so. As you saw, the meat is really tender, so like I said, I added a little bit of brown sugar right when it was almost done cooking, and I also added the fenugreek leaves. And now we finish it out with some coriander. I'm gonna try it straight from here. I like to serve this over some rice and naan bread, and it's delicious. The lamb is so incredibly tender. To me, it has the right amount of spice, right amount of curry, right amount of everything, to be honest. The chickpeas got really nice and tender. I wish I would have added them a little bit later on in the cooking process because some of them they got really soft and they're kind of mushy. But it really depends. Sometimes the lamb takes a little bit more to cook and get tender, so it really just depends. So that's the only thing I wish. So keep an eye on it. Once you see that the lamb it's almost tender, then add your chickpeas so they don't get really nice and mushy. I mean, if you like mushy chickpeas, by all means. But this is my lamb and chickpea curry. I hope you like it. I hope you try it. I hope you like it. I hope you share with your friends and family if you tried the recipe and you enjoyed it. Like I said, this is not authentic by any means, and you can add more spice, add whatever you like to it. To me, this is absolutely perfection. I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.